Welcome to Handmade Happenings. I'm Melissa. Today I'm working on improving my ironing station. Now up to this point I've been using a standard ironing board and there's nothing really wrong with it, but I do find it a bit inefficient in a couple of ways. The first is just for ironing large pieces of fabric. Because of that tapered end, I find that I just can't iron use the full depth of my ironing board before I have to adjust fabric and iron again. And the other way is just in storage capabilities. Because of the shape of the ironing board legs, it just isn't possible to really put any kind of storage under it. And if I'm going to have large pieces of furniture in my space, I like it to kind of do double duty. So I've considered a few remedies to this. I considered getting an ironing board that just had a cabinet underneath built in. However, I found out that most of those are not as long as my current board. My current one is over 45 inches long, which means that I can iron a piece of quilt fabric unfolded and iron the whole width in one go. And that's really not something I want to give up because most of the ironing boards that have storage built in are more like 36 inches. Another option I considered is a DIY ironing board. I've seen a lot of blog posts and videos on making ones where you take a piece of plywood and cover it in batting and fabric and attach it onto a shelving unit. But there are a few things that weren't ideal about that. I do still want my ironing board to be somewhat portable if I need to move it. Say I'm doing a really big job and I just want to be in a different room while I do it. And I had a hard time finding a shelf that was the right size for what I needed. In addition to that, on all of those types of posts, I noticed a lot of comments and concerns about the moisture that is caused from the heat of the iron getting in through the batting layers to the wood and causing it to warp or mold. And if you don't know, that is basically what happens and why ironing boards have kind of holes in the bottom of the metal frame, is so that all of that moisture can just escape and isn't building up on your ironing board. I have seen some suggestions of using a pegboard to kind of get around that problem, but in my mind at least, I would then be worried that the moisture would just go through the pegboard and build up on the top of the cabinet underneath. The next option that I've seen is an ironing mat, and this is one that's just meant to protect a tabletop while you iron. This option seems to have some of the same concerns as the previous one as far as moisture goes, but I think I have a way around it, and so that is what I am going to try. So I have accumulated a bunch of different fabrics based off of various blog posts that I have seen. The first one is Insul-bright, which is often used for pot holders and things like that because it's supposed to have something in it. I don't know all of the details, but basically it's supposed to reflect heat back up. So that is one, it will protect my surface, and then it also is supposed to help with the actual ironing because it basically means that the heat's coming from both directions, both from your iron and then from underneath the fabric. So it's supposed to make it better for that. I then have some cotton batting because the Insul-bright is actually, I think, a type of polyester is what I had read, and basically it needs a natural fiber between the iron and it to keep it from melting, I think. But basically another layer of insulation. Then my top layer will just be a basic 100% cotton broadcloth, and I picked light purple because that is my favorite color. And the layer that I am adding that I haven't seen added on any other post is a layer of waterproof fabric. And this is kind of where I'm making things up as I go along. I watched a video recently on an ironing mat where the creator actually tested it and basically said that for a dry iron, she didn't have any problems with water getting through to the surface underneath, but if she was using steam, then that's when there was a little accumulation of moisture. Now, I don't use steam much at all anyway. However, I don't want to have to worry about it when I do, and my thought was, well, if I have a waterproof layer underneath, then at least it's not hitting my surface. And I am probably going to make this piece separate from the rest of the mat. That way, if there is a really large buildup of moisture, I can just roll up the mat and the waterproof layer can dry before I use everything again. And this is just the type of fabric that's used on cloth diapers. I'll put the name up on the screen, which is used as the outer layer so that the baby's clothes stay dry. Before I actually assemble this, I want to make sure that all of these layers work, because there's really no point in doing this if not. And I'm just going to test it by layering all of the pieces and doing it on top of this cutting mat, which is the one that I keep for craft purposes. So I'm going to start with putting out my cotton fabric, because I'm going to layer it all in a single layer and then fold it over on itself, hopefully, because that is most likely how I will do it if this works. So then the next layer would be the cotton batting. So I've got the 2 layers of the Insul-bright on top, and I'm just going to fold the other 2 in half this way. I'm going to test this first without the waterproof layer, and just to see, I'm curious how it does both for the heat and the moisture aspect. And I have the iron set to the hottest setting it will go on. I'm just going to iron over it. I'm not putting anything on top of it because this actually cotton piece needs probably ironed a little better anyway. Obviously the fabric on top is very hot. Let's check underneath. It is actually completely cool underneath on my cutting mat, as well as the underside of the fabric. I'm kind of curious. Okay, so I can still feel the heat on the cotton, but not really under even just one layer of the Insul-bright. Definitely not by the second. And there is no moisture at this point. I didn't really expect there to be. I do know that you can get moisture buildup with a dry iron, because I've had it happen when using tabletop ironing boards. It will go through the ironing board because it has the holes under it, and then just have moisture all over the table on that it's sitting on. So I do know that can happen, but I really didn't expect it to after the video that I watched previously. However, in that video, steam was a different story, and so that's what I'm going to check next. My steamer is warming up, but I am curious about one other thing, and that is just using a spray bottle on fabric with my iron. This is what I usually do if I'm ironing yardage. I really only use the steamer if I'm blocking my smocking. I'm curious to see if this makes a difference. Well, there's definitely still no moisture underneath with that. And I'm not sure like if a steamer will do it, because that's what I use, or if it's just like when you're using an iron with steam that this becomes a problem. So well, I still don't have any moisture. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It does mean that probably for what I do, I may not even need the waterproof layer, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just because, like I said, I don't want to have to worry about whatever surface I put this on at all. The cotton batting came with an instruction sheet for pre-shrinking it, which I ignored because I don't plan to wash this mat. However, I have seen an article that said it's best to treat your fabric the same way you'll treat your finished item. With that in mind, I went ahead and ironed it with my iron set to the highest setting. And I took this opportunity to test the table that I'm going to use for my ironing mat. So I set that up, then put the Insul-bright down and ironed on the cotton bat. I got this table from my grandparents. It folds up so it's really easy to move, and it's about as close to the perfect size as I could probably get. It's about 47 inches long, which means that I can fit a piece of quilt cotton unfolded on it. And the depth is 19 inches, which seems to be the sweet spot for me. Any narrower, and that would just mean that I would have to move the fabric more often. Any wider, and I wouldn't be able to reach the full size of the table, plus it would just stick out too much in the corner that it's going in. Now the table height is a bit shorter than my current ironing board, which may not be a problem. My current ironing board might actually be a little too tall. However, if it is a problem, I can always just put the table on block. blocks. I ironed the purple broadcloth as well, and I did think I saw some condensation on the table after I finished, which is why I want the waterproof layer just to be on the safe side. Now it's time to start assembling. The Insul-bright is 22.5-ish inches wide, and since that's only a little bigger than the depth of my table, I decided to make that the width of my mat so I didn't have to cut it. With that in mind, I cut the height of my batting to the width of the Insul-bright. Then I cut the batting in half widthwise and used that to determine the mat's length. Then use the batting to cut the Insul-bright. And this makes the mat slightly longer than the length of the table and a few inches deeper. Now I have 2 layers of Insul-bright and 2 layers of cotton batting, and this is when I realized that the Insul-bright was a bit more than 22.5 inches wide, and my broadcloth was not large enough to cover both sides of the mat, at least not without cutting and piecing it, which is what I ended up doing. When I pieced it to the width of the batting and twice the length. Then I layered all of the fabrics. I laid out the broadcloth in a single layer, then topped it with a layer of batting, the 2 layers of Insul-bright, and the second layer of cotton batting. Then I folded the broadcloth over to cover it all. I pinned all of the layers together, trying to keep everything smooth. I even used glasshead pins so that I could iron over it. Next, I basted it all together. This is similar to quilting in that I never seem to get this very smooth. And that's a lot more important with this project than normal. I have a friend who suggested using a quilting foot, but I don't have one. And after basting both long edges, it was so messy that I unpicked and redid it. The second try was still not completely even, but it was doable. And I did find that since the mat is larger than my table, I could actually just kind of push all of the wrinkles toward the edge of the mat that is hanging off of the table. Next, I cut 3-inch strips of fabric and sewed them together for binding. I skipped the angled seam that's normally used when sewing binding together. It's normally done to avoid adding bulk to the seam, but in this case, I don't see any point in trying to reduce bulk because I'm already sewing through 6 layers. What's a little more? I attached the binding to the edge of the mat like I normally would, except that I'm only sewing through 1 layer. And I decided on a 1/2-inch seam allowance, which is a bit larger than I normally would do. Then wrapped the binding around the ends, tucked the raw edges under, and sewed it in place. Now I had a generous amount of binding left for toning under, which is a good thing because there were spots that weren't caught in my stitches, and the large amount folded over ensured those edges were covered. Now I only sewed the binding to 3 sides because that 4th side is a folded edge and did not need finished. Then I cut the waterproof layer of fabric a bit larger than my table so that it will have a slight overhang. I placed that layer on the table and put the mat on top. To test this out, I ironed a piece of fabric that I had that's 5.5 yards long. This is for an upcoming project, which will probably be my next video. And it seemed to work well. There was no moisture under the mat. However, the waterproof layer kept slipping around. So to help with that, I pinched the corners and sewed them to create kind of a box shape. Then I tested it again with another piece of large fabric for a different upcoming project. And at this point, the waterproof layer stays in place, but the mat still slips around when adjusting fabric. And this is because the fabric kept getting caught on the edge that hangs off of the table. But I found if that piece is hanging off in the same direction that the fabric is being moved toward, it was less of a problem. Mom suggested Velcroing the mat to the waterproof layer, and I might try that with some stick-on Velcro to avoid having to sew through that waterproof layer. And here's the new setup. I think that it has really cleaned up the corner. It looks a lot better. I plan to put a short shelf underneath it eventually. However, I am going to test it a little longer first to make sure that I really like it. Though I have already ironed 12 yards of fabric on it, so you could argue that it's already pretty well tested. Thank you for watching. I will leave links for the materials that I used in this project in the description, and I hope you'll join me next time for another handmade happening.